The orbital arena of Krithak 7 had witnessed countless battles across its 3-century existence, but none quite like this. David stood at the center of the crystalline platform, his breathing ragged, blood trickling from a cut above his left eye. Around him, the holographic barriers shimmered with an otherworldly blue light, separating the combatants from the roaring crowd of alien spectators that filled the stadium's massive tiers. His opponent, a Vorkan warrior named Zekther, circled him with predatory grace. The creature stood nearly 8 feet tall, its 4 muscular arms ending in claws that could slice through reinforced steel. Its exoskeleton gleamed like polished obsidian under the arena's harsh lights, and its compound eyes tracked David's every movement with calculating precision. David had been a colonist on Mars, working the terraform fields with his family, when the Vorkan raiders attacked. They had taken him along with dozens of others, selling them to various buyers across the outer reaches. He'd ended up here in the fighting pits, where Earthborn humans were considered novelties, weak, fragile creatures meant to provide brief entertainment before their inevitable deaths. He had survived 3 fights already, more through luck than skill, but his luck was running out. Zekther lunged forward with impossible speed. David barely rolled aside, feeling the whoosh of air as those deadly claws missed his throat by inches. He scrambled to his feet, gripping the crude metal rod they'd given him as a weapon, a joke compared to the natural arsenal his opponent possessed. "And this human," Zekther's voice rumbled through the translator implants all arena fighters received. "You have fought bravely, but your species was not made for war." David knew the alien was right. Every muscle in his body screamed with exhaustion. His left arm hung uselessly at his side, likely fractured from an earlier blow. The arena's artificial gravity was set to Earth normal as a fair gesture, but it meant nothing when your opponent was a being evolved for combat on a high-gravity world. In the VIP section overlooking the arena, Anna pressed her palm against the transparent aluminum viewport, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. She had been searching for David for 6 months, ever since the attack on the Mars colony. Following rumors, bribing information brokers, stowing away on cargo ships, whatever it took to find him. And now she had found him, only to watch him die. "Your pet will not last another minute," sneered Counselor Vrex, the Vorkan official who owned David's contract. The reptilian politician lounged in his hovering seat beside her, mandibles clicking with amusement. "Perhaps you should have stayed on your pathetic little red planet, girl." Anna had gained access to this section by posing as a xenobiologist studying human combat performance, a thin cover story that Vrex had barely believed, but allowed because he found her desperation entertaining. Now she watched helplessly as Zekther struck again, his lower left arm catching David across the ribs and sending him sprawling. The crowd's roar intensified. They loved it when humans fell. David coughed, tasting copper. He tried to rise, but his legs wouldn't cooperate. Through blurry vision, he saw Zekther approaching for the kill, all 4 arms spread wide in a gesture of triumph. This was it then. At least he had made them work for it. At least he had shown them that humans didn't surrender easily. "Stop!" The word cut through the arena's noise like a plasma blade through flesh. Everything froze. The crowd fell silent. Even Zekther paused, his killing strike suspended mid-motion. Anna stood at the barrier's edge, her voice amplified by the arena's acoustic systems. Her hands were clenched into fists at her sides, and tears streamed down her face, but her voice was steady, strong. "I invoke the right of challenge," she said, speaking the words in flawless Vorkan. She had learned their language, their customs, their laws during her search. "As is my right under Section 7 of the Arena Accords." Counselor Vrex shot upright in his seat, his amber eyes widening in shock. "You cannot be serious, human. You are not even registered as a fighter." "The Accords state that any sentient being may challenge to substitute for a fallen combatant if they share bloodline or bondmate status," Anna replied, her voice ringing across the arena. "David is my brother. I claim the right." The crowd erupted in confused chatter. In 300 years, no one had ever invoked this ancient provision. Certainly no human had even known it existed. David's head snapped up, his eyes finding Anna across the distance. "No," he whispered, though she couldn't hear him. "Anna, no." The arena's AI adjudicator, an ancient quantum intelligence, processed the request. Its synthesized voice echoed through the stadium. "Challenge valid. Right of challenge accepted. Combatant substitution approved." The barrier section near Anna dematerialized. She took a single step forward onto the arena floor. That step changed everything. Anna had not come unprepared. While David had survived through desperation and instinct, Anna had spent her 6-month search doing more than just tracking him down. She had studied. She had trained. She had learned from a dozen different species combat masters, paying for lessons with the last of her family's savings, working menial jobs on station after station, all while pursuing her brother's trail. She had watched recordings of Vorkin fighting styles until she could predict their moves in her sleep. She had conditioned her body in high-gravity chambers until her bones were dense as stone, and her muscles could explode with twice their normal force. She had learned to fight not like a human trying to match alien strength, but like a human exploiting alien weaknesses. Humans were weak, yes, but humans were also adaptable in ways that 3/4 of galactic species were not. Humans could learn, could evolve their tactics, could turn disadvantages into strategies. Most importantly, Anna had something none of David's previous opponents had faced. She was fighting for someone she loved, and love made humans dangerous in ways the galaxy had forgotten. As she stepped onto the crystalline platform, a new metal rod materialized in her hand, identical to David's weapon. Zecthar turned from his prey to face this new challenger, his compound eyes glittering with a mixture of confusion and contempt. "You waste both your lives now, female," Zecthar growled. "I will make this quick." Anna said nothing. She simply settled into a fighting stance that would have looked familiar to any martial artist from Earth, feet shoulder-width apart, weight balanced, rod held in a middle guard position. Her breathing was calm. Her eyes never left Zecthar's center mass. The Vorkin attacked with the same devastating speed that had overwhelmed David. His forearms came at Anna from multiple angles simultaneously, a killing pattern that no human should have been able to counter. But Anna wasn't trying to counter. She was already moving before Zecthar completed his attack, her body flowing like water around his strikes. She had studied the biomechanics of Vorkin anatomy, knew exactly how their four-armed attacks created tiny gaps in their defense, knew precisely how their exoskeleton joints articulated. Her rod flashed out, striking not with brute force but with surgical precision, the soft joint behind Zecthar's upper right arm. The Vorkin grunted in surprise as that arm went momentarily numb. Before he could recover, Anna was already pivoting, her smaller size allowing her to move inside his reach. Her elbow struck his lower right arm's nerve cluster, another limb compromised. The crowd's silence broke into shocked murmurs. This wasn't supposed to happen. Zecthar roared in fury and pain, redoubling his assault. But now he was fighting defensively, trying to protect his weakened side, and that meant Anna was controlling the fight's rhythm. She moved like a dancer, like water finding cracks in stone, each strike precisely placed to exploit the biological vulnerabilities she had spent months learning. David watched in awe as his sister, his brilliant, determined, unstoppable sister, systematically dismantled one of the arena's most feared champions. Tears mixed with the blood on his face. He wanted to shout warnings, to tell her to be careful, but he couldn't find his voice. The fight lasted 7 minutes. To the spectators, it seemed like an eternity. Anna never stopped moving, never gave Zecthar a chance to use his superior strength. When the Vorkin finally collapsed, 3 of his 4 arms disabled and his pride shattered, the arena erupted in chaos. Some aliens were outraged, others were fascinated, most were simply shocked. Anna dropped her weapon and ran to David, falling to her knees beside him. "You idiot," she sobbed, pulling him into her arms. "You stupid, brave idiot. I've been looking everywhere for you." "How?" David whispered, clinging to her. "How did you?" "Because you're my brother," Anna said simply, "and nobody takes my family from me." Counselor Vrex descended to the arena floor, his expression unreadable. According to the Accords, Anna had won both her freedom and David's. But more than that, she had done something unprecedented. A human had defeated a Vorkan warrior in single combat through skill alone. The political implications would ripple across the outer reaches for years to come. But in that moment, none of it mattered to Anna and David. They had found each other again. They were going home. The fight had been one-sided, until an Earthborn human girl took a single step forward. And that single step had changed 2 lives, and perhaps, in time, would change how the galaxy viewed humanity itself. Because humans were not warriors by nature. But when pushed, when fighting for what they loved, they could become something far more dangerous. They could become survivors who refused to give up, no matter the odds. And the universe was just beginning to learn what that truly meant.